Okay, so 14.21.
So I
Arjun,
have a
what?
question based on yesterday's last session.
Okay.
So I think it was being discussed that nobody is actually doing any action. It is done by the material modes,
Mm-hmm.
and we should basically understand that any person who is acting weirdly, it is actually forced to act according to the modes, right?
Weirdly, acting.
Acting. So one question might arise that let's say, I mean, taking an example of children, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say children at small age, they are also in the mode of ignorance, right? Because they don't know the world. They might act little stubbornly, or they might be very, very difficult to handle at times, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we sometimes chastise them, and then
Yeah.
we bring discipline to them.
Yes.
But then the question might arise that if the soul inside that body
Mm-hmm.
is not able to understand that that soul is actually has nothing to do with the body, because that understanding might come at a later stage when they get more developed consciousness, right, to comprehend these topics. So
Mm-hmm.
then all the discipline and other things which we are trying to do,
Mm-hmm.
that not be futile? That might be a question. And similarly, in some other instances the examples might be different, but then what should be the stand there? Because that time you cannot even teach the soul that okay, this is not the right way, and they should try to utilize their independent um, their independence in a better way. So then what should be our stand there?
Okay. Anybody wants to answer Prabhu's question? So basically, his question is specifically when children are misbehaving, should they be guided, told, etc.? Because anyway, it doesn't look like at that age soul cannot understand. So why should we even bother? Any answers?
Prabhu, maybe I'll just try adding
Mm-hmm.
something.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so I guess my understanding is when soul comes into the material nature itself, there will definitely be that material entanglement which will be there. So slowly and steadily, we may have to tell that this is right, this is wrong, or this
Mm-hmm.
is devotional, this is not devotional. So
Mm-hmm.
at least that direction or guidance maybe have to be given, uh,
Mm-hmm.
is what I felt.
Okay. Okay. Any other thoughts? Okay.
Children, yeah, sorry.
No, go
Children
ahead.
at that, can I go ahead, please?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, children at that age will not know anything. Like what they normally do is imitate others and pick up things from others. They have no independent thinking and available to them at that. The discretion as what is right and what is wrong is not there. So they should be not reprimanded, but in a nice way told and taught what is correct, what is the right path. Like even we as adults, we read the Gita, we know what is the right path. Similarly, we should be the teachers to the youngsters, and we should young children, and we should guide them and teach them what the right and the wrong,
Mm-hmm.
so that those impressions are formed in their mind, and they continue to do that.
Mm.
Probably the effects of karma and all take over at a later stage and not at a juvenile stage. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Probably, I feel they're too young for the papas and punyas to take effect on them at that stage. So
Mm-hmm.
guidance is very important because Krishna is also guiding us throughout, and so as we are adults, so we should be guiding the children.
Mm. Okay. Okay. So, so actually, see, we should. One thing I think we should think about that there is free will, right? This free will. What does this free will actually mean? Free will means that that we have the option to exercise it. Correct? So if we have the option to exercise it, then we can somewhat nourish that free will, in the sense, give that free will, condition that free will, or uh, drive that free will in the right direction. So basically what we are doing with all this from childhood is not that we are not, by doing any of this, not that any of their karma phala will change, okay, but that potentially they can make the right use of free will, so that they can then decide the direction in life, take decisions. Because see, we have this free will, we should not forget this. We have this free will, right? And so this is just grooming that free will. That is the word I was looking for. So we are just grooming so that that free will takes on the right path, takes the right path. That okay, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. But so question was that do they understand that they are being groomed? Because
Yeah. So see, there are multiple levels. Okay, so for this we need to go into a little bit of understanding of subtle body, right? Like Yamini Mataji was saying, at one level it is just it's like at that age it is more like animalistic kind of nature that children have, right? As in not much intelligence, or not everybody, but generalizing. So for animals, that's don't do this, do this, right? And they are just like, that is why some discipline. Okay, this is not right. Okay, I should not do. That's it, right? Now they don't have any higher connections at that point of time, but it forms an impression. Then they realize, oh, okay, I shouldn't be doing this. Okay, this is not right. So they got some idea that there is something called right and wrong, something allowed, not allowed, etc. So we are just building up their thought process. And when the right time comes, they will possibly be able to understand, right? But see, it's not like the mind is working, the intelligence is working, everything is connected with their past life, all the vasanas, everything is lying, dormant at different levels, etc. Just that the physical age of the kid is, normally considered as a reflection of when he or she will start using or applying intelligence. But these vasanas are all there, and so absolutely these things, they should go into the store of thoughts, and that the child has to know, and then it will possibly use it to exercise it at the right moment, right time. And that is the reason. See, whatever we've been taught in the past, right? Like saying that, okay, as Shastra says, right? Bhagavatam says, Pita na sasyat, Guru na sasyat, Janani na sasyat. That don't become father, mother, guru if you cannot guide the child, guide your dependent, and such that this is the last birth in this material world, or to achieve perfection. So which means that the duty is always there to give the right direction, and that is like, that is why we come to Bhagavad Gita, that is why we come to scriptures, and that is a responsibility of parents. We have to do this. Okay. Verse 21, 14.21. Arjunuvacha Kailinge strin gunanetan atito bhavati prabho kim achara katam chaitam strin gunan ativartate. Arjuna inquired, "Oh my dear Lord, by which symptoms is one known who is transcendental to these three modes? What is his behavior? How does it transcend the modes of nature?" So, very important question, right? First, he wants to know what are the symptoms of a person who is transcended. How does he behave? And how does he transcend? What is the process? Yeah, when I read this verse, I was like super thrilled, saying that, oh, this is the final secret is out here. purport. In these words, Arjuna's questions are very appropriate. He wants to know the symptoms of a person who has already transcended the modes. He first inquires of the symptoms. How can one understand that he has already transcended the influence of modes? Second question asks how he lives and what his activities are they regulated or non-regulated. Then he inquires of the means by which he can attain the transcendental nature. This is very important. Unless one knows the direct means, not indirect means, direct means by which one can be situated always transcendentally, there is no possibility of showing the symptoms. So all these questions put by Arjuna are very important. The Lord answers them. Okay. 22 to 25. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Prakasham cha pravrittim cha mohameva cha pandava na dveshti sampravruttani na nivruttani kankshati udasina vadasina gunaryo na vichalyate guna vartanta ityevam yovattishtati nyengate samadukha sukha swasta samaloshtrashma kanchanaha तुल्य प्रिया प्रियो धीरस्तुल्य निंदात्म संस्तुतिः मानापमानयोस्तुल्यस्तुल्यो मित्रादिपक्षयोः सर्वारंभ परित्यागी गुणातीतः स उच्यते. Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Oh son of Pandu." Okay, so now person, these are all the qualities of a person, symptoms of a person who has transcended the modes. He who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present. Prakasham, moham, prakasham cha pravrittim cha. Prakasham, pravritti, moha. So he does not hate delusion when they are present. He does not hate them when they are present or long for them when they disappear. Who is unwavering and undisturbed. Basically, this whole, we'll keep coming across this. Unwavering, undisturbed. Does not hate, does not long for something. Anasochati na kankshati. Through all these reactions of material qualities, undisturbed through all these reactions. So, problems will come, you have to face all these, but is undisturbed. Remaining neutral and transcendental. Knowing that the modes alone are active, like we discussed, who is situated in the self and regards alike happiness and distress. Situated in the self. Situated in the self means that he is in the platform of the self, meaning he is operating on the platform of the self. Who looks upon a lump of earth, stone, piece of gold with an equal eye, equal toward desirable and undesirable, steady, situated equally well, praise, blame, honor, dishonor, treats alike both friend and enemy, and who has renounced all material activities. Such a person is said to transcend the modes. Actually, if you kind of summarize this, now basically it is na sochati na kankshati, right? Basically, he has no aspirations and he is not lamenting. And samasarveshu bhuteshu, he is equal to all. So this other verse, Brahmabhuta Prasannatma na sochati na kankshati samasarveshu bhuteshu madbhaktim labhate param. So this is that Brahmabhuta stage, transcended the modes. So these are more details Krishna is giving here. How he is samasarveshu, stone, piece of gold, equal toward desirable, undesirable, blame, praise, blame, honor, dishonor, treats alike friend and enemy. So this is all samasarveshu bhuteshu. Then na sochati na kankshati, he does not long for anything, he doesn't hate anything, and he is unwavering and neutral. So and actually one thing which is not there in this verse is Prasannatma, which is there in that other. He is happy. So we should understand that these are the qualities. And somebody was asking me, saying that if we are following path of bhakti, do we need this? Of course we need this. We have to come to Brahmabhuta stage. Without this, Mad Bhaktim Labhate Param. We will not get pure devotional service without this. So we have to come to this stage. Process is there. Process of bhakti is there, super powerful. It will take us there. But not if we are not engaged in Tibra Bhakti. Not if you're not serious about bhakti, then it might take us ages, lifetimes to get here. But the process is so powerful that it can take us in one life. Purport. Arjuna submitted 3 different questions and the Lord answers them one after another. In these verses, Krishna first indicates that the person transcendently situated has no envy and does not hanker for anything. No envy. Living entity stays in the material world embodied by the material body. It is to be understood that he is under the control of one of the 3 modes of material nature. We discussed this. When he is actually out of the body, then he is out of the clutches of material modes. But as long as he is not out of the body, he should be neutral. Oh, amazing point. He should be neutral. Yeah, he should be neutral, meaning he should not get affected by these modes. Or he should treat everybody as being caught up in the modes and be neutral. Deal with everybody neutrally. He should engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord so that his identity with the material body will automatically be forgotten. See, Prabhupada, each of these statements are so powerful. We are engaging in devotional service so that his identity with the material body will automatically be forgotten. So our identity with this body has to be forgotten, not increased, or not even maintained. Many devotees come into Krishna consciousness and initial Josh, they reach a certain level of, renunciation, knowledge, etc. And then they will just say, this is fine. I'm happy with this. In fact, many times I've seen devotees after a few years in Krishna consciousness, then they suddenly become more focused on their career. I don't know why, but suddenly, this attachment to material things, it doesn't go down further. It somewhat either increases in some very rare cases or even remains like maintained. It is maintained. No, we cannot maintain attachment to this body. It has to decrease. It has to become zero. When one is conscious of the material body, he acts only for sense gratification. But one transfers the consciousness to Krishna, sense gratification automatically stops. So the whole process of devotional service is that we are spending our time, energy, everything, engaging ourselves in the service of Krishna, not in our own service. Why we are engaging in service of Krishna? Because we want to we have to disconnect ourselves from this body. If we once one of our very senior devotee, Sarvabhauma Prabhu, so he was giving class and I asked him some question saying that so many troubles, what should we do? He said, come sit and hear Srimad Bhagavatam. So to how much ever time you can sit and hear, to that much time you are relieved, you are liberated for that much time, right? So because we will lose connection with our material body when we are sitting and hearing, right? Even for now, for instance, if we are really completely engrossed, and that is the advantage of preaching, right? When we are preaching, we have to get engrossed. So there's no question of us having any attention towards our material, towards body, surroundings, etc., right? And hearing also has to be done in the same quality. If it is done in the same quality, then it's very impactful. But definitely preaching is. So anybody wants full benefit of Krishna consciousness should preach, because that will give us really the very powerful, will help us progress very fast. So we have to come out of this consciousness of this material body, not remain. And we can see all this, right? Over a period of time, we've been chanting for a few years, etc. If we still have attachment to the kind of clothes we are wearing, to our hairstyle, to kind of specs we are wearing, or whatever, right? I mean, all these kinds of things, right? Then that means that we are not really making progress. We are somewhat stuck somewhere, and then we have to go talk to some devotees to understand where we are stuck. One does not need this material body. It does not need to accept the dictations of the material body. Look at this. Prabhupada is clearly saying, don't feel helpless. It is not required. You don't need this material body. The qualities of the material modes in the body will act, but as spirit soul, the self is aloof from such activities. How does he become aloof? He does not desire to enjoy the body, nor does he desire to get out of it. And this is the free position of the soul, that he does not desire, he should not desire to enjoy, nor does he desire to get out. As in, we desire to serve Krishna, but not necessarily to get out of this body. However, wherever we are, we want to serve Krishna. Thus, transcendently situated, the devotee becomes automatically free. This is free because he's transcendently situated, because he's not associating with the body at all. He need not try to become free from the influence of modes. He need not try to become free because he's actually transcendently situated. Actually, he is free. But the only issue here is that he is free only to the extent or to the amount of time he is engaged in devotional service. He is free. And when he is not engaged in devotional service, then he might again get stuck with the modes. Oops. Am I audible? Okay. Something happened. Yeah, so when he is not engaged in devotional service, then he might get stuck with the modes because he's still not transcended fully. Right? So that is why the solution to transcend the modes is, which will be answered in the next verse, is constant devotional service. Then obviously the question will be saying that those who have other responsibilities, things to do, etc., how can we engage constantly? That is our decision. We have to decide what we want. Okay, the next question concerns the dealings of a transcendently situated person. The materially situated person is affected by so-called honor, dishonor, offered to the body, but the transcendently situated person is not affected. He performs his duty in Krishna consciousness, does not mind whether a man honors or dishonors. He accepts things that are favorable for his duty, anukulya sankalpa. Otherwise, he has no necessity of anything material, either a stone or gold. See, we should not read this purport and say this doesn't apply to me. It absolutely needs to apply to us. So we have to just figure out saying that where I stand, how do I get to this state? He accepts things that are favorable. Otherwise, he has no necessity of anything material. He takes everyone as his dear friend who helps him in his execution of Krishna consciousness. And he does not hate his so-called enemy. He is equally disposed and sees everything on an equal level because he knows perfectly well that he has nothing to do with this material existence. See, at least I cannot, I'm far from this consciousness that I don't have anything to do with material existence, right? Very difficult to reach. Social and political issues do not affect him because he knows the situation of temporary upheavals and disturbances. He does not attempt anything for his own sake. So, see, some of these statements, that is why I love Prabhupada's purports, because these statements are life-changing. For example, we can just meditate on this. He does not attempt anything for his own sake, right? And we should then make this as the guide for all our actions. Don't do anything for your own sake. And we will start implementing it and we will make progress. It's so effective, Prabhupada's statements. He can attempt anything for Krishna, but for his personal self, he does not attempt anything. By such behavior, one becomes actually transcendently situated. So, my request is that please read Prabhupada's purports line by line and meditate on. Some statements are very straightforward. Some statements are very revealing, very, very insightful. Right? So, then we should catch those statements when we are reading purports. For example, he can attempt anything for Krishna, but for his personal self, he does not attempt anything. Now, this looks like a very normal statement, but when you look at he does not attempt anything for his own sake, then you have to start contemplating, oh, how much of what I'm doing today is for my own sake? and then figure out ways and means of cutting it down. Okay. So I hope it's clear. Any questions?
Hare Krishna, bro. So
Hare Krishna.
this point you're talking about engaging in devotional service throughout our existence. So in at times, if we are not able to practice all of the limbs of devotional service, and if we just stick to one, for example, if we just chant, is that good enough for us, or but at times, so Prabhupada tells it's, and he also devotees stress that active engagement is required. But if we are in a situation where we it's hard for us at the moment, but we just concentrate on chanting, is that a good way of progressing?
Okay, so this will be a long answer. See, one is in Navavida Bhakti, any of the angas is equally powerful, right? That we are aware, right? There are devotees who achieved perfection by just practicing one anga, and Shravanam, Kirtanam, etc. Now, absolutely, it is fine and it is possible to achieve perfection by just engaging in one anga throughout our life also. Okay. Now, however, the thing that we need to consider is that is fine if we are only doing that and nothing else. For example, if you are only Haridas Thakur, if you are only chanting throughout the day, 24 hours, absolutely it is fine. It's possible. Now, our issue will be in terms of, so two things, right? How much time are we talking about? If we are talking about 2 hours, 3 hours in a day, then yeah, I mean, one anga, whatever, it's fine. As in, it's not that it will, I mean, 3 hours in a day is anyway not going to help us make much progress either, right? But it's fine if we are able to do only one anga, it's fine, right? But what we should think about is, suppose say tomorrow I have to, okay, today if I'm doing 2 hours, tomorrow I have to do 4 hours. Now, will I be able to do the same seva? Like, for example, if I'm chanting, will I be able to do chanting for 4 hours? Maybe not, right? Because we have not got the ruchi, not got the taste. So then we'll say, okay, how can I add spice, right? How can I add variety? Then I'll say, okay, maybe I'll read, maybe I'll do something else also. So while we can achieve perfection with one, provided we have developed the taste, till we develop the taste, we end up in multiple angas, following multiple angas. That is one. Second thing is, there is devotional service, kaya, vacha, manasa, right? We should also engage kaya, vacha, manasa, not just manasa. For example, somebody doing chanting or reading is just manasa. Now, what about kaya and vacha? So kaya, we have to engage our body in devotional service. How will we do that? So we have to figure out some way to do that, for which we might have to take up some angas. And also vacha, so we might have to speak about Krishna, do kirtanam. So that is also another angle. So while at advanced stage, just one of these angas is good enough. For on the early on the kind of early platform, we will possibly require to engage in multiple. But having said that, if suppose say I have very little time and I'm just having enough time in a day just to do my chanting, and I'm not able to do anything more than that, it is a matter of big concern, right? Unless it is a temporary kind of situation, like for example, say in your case, your child and your work, managing both, okay, it's a temporary situation. But it cannot remain so. If it remains so for a more than desirable period of time, then it's a concern. That it means that you're going to be, might not be able to make tangible progress, and that's not good. So I don't know. I've said multiple things.
Yeah, got it.
Okay.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Hare Krishna. Okay. Anybody else? Anything else?
Prabhu, one question.
Yeah.
You are mentioning that neophytes, they generally progress faster and then they slow down in their spiritual journey, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, in the same lines, just the statement what we read last, so it says he can attempt anything for Krishna, but for his personal self, he does not attain anything.
Yeah.
So, is there a possibility of a situation where on a personal self he is doing nothing, but on the Krishna side also the progress is less?
Yeah, that's mode of ignorance.
Mode of ignorance. Okay.
Yeah, because generally if we are in mode of passion, then we do something. No, we'll do something for somebody. Action, passion means action. So
Right.
either we do for ourselves or do we do for Krishna. If you are not doing on both, and then obviously we are not in mode of goodness, because if you are in mode of goodness, then we'll not be discussing these things. In the sense, we'll be talking about Brahman and whatever. Then yeah, we mostly are in mode of ignorance. Then we should break out of it.
Got it, Prabhu.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Okay. I think then we will stop here. Okay. Yeah, Arnath Prabhu.
In this translation, last line actually, who has announced all material activities.
Hmm.
So it's actually like,
What does it mean? Okay, renounced all material activities. Sarvaramba Parityagi. Sarva Aramba. All endeavors. All material endeavors stopped. What does it mean? What does it mean? Who wants to try? Anyone? Okay. So
material desires to satisfy the own senses. I don't know. I'm just.
Yeah. So at so there are multiple level answers to this. One is he doesn't engage in any activity for sense gratification. He does everything as a matter of duty. Okay, that is from a karma yoga platform. Nishkama karma. It is called Nishkama karma. So he's engaging, but he's not engaging because he's actually not thinking he's the doer, and he's not doing it for himself. He's just doing it as a matter of duty. Next, at a higher level, literally there are no material activities. Actually, they said, like pure devotees, they have no idea that even their external activities like eating, sleeping, etc., are all just done routinely, like as a matter of fact, as in they are not even engaged in those activities as well, right? Because their mind is actually completely out of the material platform, right? So that's a very high platform. There also there is absolutely literally zero material activity. And engaging in activities like keeping the body and soul together is not really considered material, as long as we don't what is it called? We don't provoke the senses. Like when we're eating, it's this is so nice, this is so tasty. This is provoking the senses. We should just say, okay, this is Lord's mercy. I got the opportunity to honor prasadam, and I just honor prasadam in the mood of service. That is not considered as a material activity, right? So there could be externally activities which are still performed, but not with completely transcended consciousness or with complete Krishna consciousness. Then also there are no material activities. And then at a still higher level, no external consciousness at all. Then also it is transcended. So very high stage. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. Anybody else has anything? Questions? Anything to say? Okay, then let's close. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Samaveta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Okay, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Okay, disconnect.